And this the Cedar City Real Estate Morning Drive.
I think you got it right, man. I think you got it
I'm
right
finally
today.
pulled into it.
Good job.
You know what? Even a blind squirrel, as they say, Jesse, right?
You know, even a blind squirrel gets in that once in a while.
She went to a lapel myself.
Look at you.
Hey, yes. Yeah, we got tired of trying to figure out our audio, so I
I do what I should.
what's funny is how inexpensive it is to fix it. The most it takes is time.
Yep.
You got to take the time to go find it and buy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the marvelous capabilities of Bluetooth.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. I mean, you could be on a plane and randomly airdrop miscellaneous photos and weird stuff to people that you don't know with Bluetooth. I mean, there's all sorts of fun things you can do with an iPhone. You guys ever heard about that? People just start airdropping like weird photos to people on the plane.
I have not.
Yeah, it's funny.
I put
Jesse, your screen camera lens is quite dirty.
Let me see here.
Let me just explain something. It looks like your thumb got in there, buddy.
How's that? Is it better?
I feel better. Let's see. Jeremy Larkin here, host of the Cedar City Real Estate Morning Drive with Jesse Paul in the studio. He's grabbed some random freaking t-shirt. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
Who knows?
Let's see what this is.
Who knows?
Oh yeah,
The July Jamboree. I think this would be a fun conversation. You guys ready for this? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, my friend's gonna provoke me. My friend Christopher here.
Oh, he's gonna. All
Well, I
right.
was just reading earlier this morning that Moody's Analytics came out with a list of the most overvalued housing markets in the US state.
Yes.
And you're familiar with this, I'm sure.
Well, we've talked about it being overvalued for months now.
Idaho, the most overvalued housing market in the US.
Where's Utah?
Yeah, Utah is
In the top 10.
It's 12.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow, really?
I'm surprised it's that low.
Yeah.
I figure I would figure it'd be right there with Idaho. Because it was one of the boom states, Idaho, Utah.
But
Yeah.
that People's Freeway.
Have you heard about that?
No,
Freeway.
no.
That was literally, it's now the ballpark, but that neighborhood used to be called People Freeway. And I go, what men in Canada came up with that for the name of a neighborhood? Where are you from? People Freeway.
That's weird.
Fun.
Like what, you live under the overpass or what?
Yeah, they have that in Vegas. People who actually live under the
1.87% above fundamental value. 41.87. That's Idaho.
This is actually
Okay.
such a great setup.
Not me.
This is such a great setup today for what we're going to talk about.
Okay, cool.
Because because homeownership is an interesting beast. And it's an interesting beast because right now people are saying, well, why would I want to own a home? And why would I buy a home in this market? Wouldn't that be insanity? Right. And we're going to get to that. So here's our fun fact. So thank you. I love that you set this up before we get there. Where's the coldest place in southern Utah? Not Brian. Where's the coldest place between St. George and Beaver on the freeway? Anybody want to know?
Freeway?
On the freeway. I would say Vernal, but
On the freeway. On the freeway.
Parowan's gonna make an argument.
Yeah.
Parowan's there.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, and I have, and I don't need any.
Maryville?
Hamilton Fort.
Hamilton Fort, yeah.
The 2 miles between the rest stop and the gas station. Let me explain how much colder it is. We caught it at we often catch it, but we caught it at the exact. We were on the freeway this morning. The exact moment. Of course, the exact moment is right before the sun hits, right?
Yeah.
So the sun was actually cresting the peaks on the west side. This from that stretch right before the gas station exit at Hamilton Fort, it was 18. This is going to blow your mind. From Hamilton Fort to 1 mile later, it was 25.
Yeah. Oh no.
7 degree swing in a mile.
Mhm.
There's nowhere else on the freeway that does that. And the reason I say I've analyzed this, I was born and raised in Southern Utah, by the way. Jeremy Larkin hosted the show today with my good friend Jesse Paul, business
Good
partner.
morning, everybody.
Anna Larkin, the Shakespeare's here in town are related to us, Stan and Barbara, and they've now moved to St. George, but they finally defected. And so many great memories of being over at Cedar High in a massive snowstorm, doing Brodies, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Spinning around in that parking lot like on a Sunday night in February in a huge snowstorm, getting stuck over where Saddleback Ridge is, literally getting stuck in, I think it was my dad's Ford Explorer, or maybe it was my uncle's, with my cousin Brent Shakespeare, his local names. These are like 30 years ago. You know what I mean? 30 plus years ago. I have studied this. That spot is so cold. Isn't that wild that it's that distinct?
Oh, yeah. Probably work too. That stretch of highway, New Harmony to Hamilton Fort.
Mhm.
If there's a storm, that will be the worst spot.
That's-
That will be the
Just
worst
horrible,
spot.
man. Stunning.
Even worse than the Black Ridge days have.
So there you go. I think that was, anyway, I'm going to go into it. It's fun. You can't even say anything. It would be wrong. Guys, let's talk about this. Have some fun there. So Chris started our show by saying he thinks everything's overvalued. Should we talk about it? Well, let's talk about it.
Analytics says it.
Well, this is the deep dive. Jesse, should we dive deep?
Do it.
How does homeownership impact a family's net worth? Because the question right now is, if Idaho's how far overvalued? 41%?
Yeah, 40-something%.
We've been saying right now, Jesse and I have looked at this data forever, right?
Fix your screen.
Fix my screen. What's wrong with my screen?
Nobody's showing you.
Oh, you're disappointed in that, aren't you?
Well, they just don't know who's talking.
Yeah. Well, you know that I'm talking. So I have a really fun one that we're going to use today. We're going to plug Jesse and I. See, the only problem is it puts us in that weird.
But it's in a weird box.
Look at this.
Oh, that's funny.
It put us in the New York
That's-
City
Boardroom.
boardroom. Do you love this?
Judicial court.
I love this. Judicial court. I think that resonated with you more than anybody else. Been in there a few times, 30 years ago.
Been a long time ago.
Okay.
I haven't been to court in 20 years, 25 years.
Good. Glad. The guy's amazing. What a great story. So listen, on that note, would you want to own a home?
Yes.
So when we do our deep dive, okay, most agents know what's happening, realtors, or if you want to say realtors. Good agents understand what's happening. Great agents can explain what's happening. I
Mhm.
hope that we fall in the great agent category, guys. The Larkin Group, home selling team, KW Realty, that's our brokerage affiliation. Let's talk about America's belief in homeownership for a minute.
Yeah, let's keep it that.
Homeownership remains the number one feature of the American dream. And my hand is in and out of the camera. It is the number one feature of the American dream. Jesse, what percentage of people still said it was the number one feature in their dream?
74%.
Owning a home.
It's a lot.
Being able to retire, 62%, successful career, 61%, a college degree, 33%. The benefits of home ownership. Well, what are they, Jesse? What are some of the benefits of home ownership? Is this guy trying to get us to buy a home? Wait, I haven't gotten to the financial part.
Yeah.
And if you're a renter, you'll want to maybe sit down and have like fifth of vodka nearby when I show you your abysmal financial state compared to homeowners. That's coming.
Okay, so 66% say that having less stress is important.
Okay.
71% living within your budget. 84% living in a nicer home.
Mhm.
And 88% of the people answered living in a place where you and your family can feel safe.
Hey, this is so important. Having less stress. Here's the interesting thing. If you lock in a 30-year mortgage today, let's talk about your options. Can they raise the payment on you? No. Payment is locked in. Could you lower your payment if interest rates went down? Everyone moved their heads in that down.
Mhm.
We talked last week about property taxes. Could they go up a little bit? Yeah, they will. Right? Insurance, go up a little bit. Guys, if you live in a rental, they can raise your rent, they can kick you out, they can enforce weird rules. You don't have freedom.
No pets.
No pets. Okay. So it's interesting because today I'm going to tell you something. Across the board, it would be cheaper to rent monthly.
Across the board.
Yeah. So let's sneak ahead to this. Okay. America's belief in homeownership as a good investment. Okay. So this is really interesting to me. In 2022, in 2021 and 22, 41 and 45% USA of Americans said that they thought it was the best long-term investment. Right?
Yep.
And in 2023, only 34% said so. Well, I can tell you why. With rates going
Because
up.
affordability just went
Yeah.
off the cliff.
Yeah.
Like because of interest rates. When they went from 3 to 5 to 6 to 7
Mhm.
and now to 8, it's just the affordability dropped.
Yeah. Well, but let's compare it to all of our other
Well,
options.
let me follow that up with, whenever that happens so fast, there's a mourning process that has to happen, or an adjustment
Yes.
period that
Yes.
it just has to happen. Every time we see the interest rate go up by 0.5 point, there's a 30 to 45 day adjustment period for buyers where they have to get their wits about them, right? Adjust their emotional reaction.
They do. It's compared to gold. 26% said gold was number one, 18% said stocks, 13% said savings accounts. By the way, I think you ought to own real estate, gold stocks, and have money in a savings account. That's my opinion. You might as well do it all. America's opinion of the best long-term investment in 2023. There it is another way. Americans think the road the riches is paved in, this is from Lending Tree, real estate. Well, yeah. Yeah, see, the interesting thing about real estate is it's an active, living, breathing asset. It's doing things, right? You live in it, you can put tenants in it, you can have like a stranger pay for it on your behalf. You know, you purchase stocks, gold, bonds, cash, you just kind of like open, go gold. Okay. Well, let's get to the really, really, really fun part. From 2019 to 2022, Jesse, growth in the median net worth was the largest 3-year increase in the history of the modern single family, more than double the next largest on record.
Which would have been 2004, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm. And here's the slide of the day. Here's the slide of the year. What is the average net worth, Jesse, of a renter as of 2023?
$10,400.
$10,400 is the average net worth of a renter in America. What's the average net worth of a homeowner in America?
$396,200.
Oh, but I don't know if I want to own a home. I mean, rates are really high. I mean, I looked at a rental that was like $1,800 a month, and my mortgage payment would be $21 a month. So I think I'll rent. Okay. So who out there, if you're driving in your car, just raise one hand. Who's a parent? Didn't you teach your kids that sometimes you have to give up something in the short run to have something really great in the long run?
By the way, I like the fact that you're like in the footlights here.
So fun, isn't it?
That's
So
kind of
fun.
cool.
Yeah, we're in the boardroom. The guy that was in the boardroom was actually our president for a while. That's so funny to think about. The guy that they spoofed in Back to the Future too was in. Anyway, so good. So the average net worth of a homeowner in America, Jesse, is almost $400,000. The average of a renter is $10,400, 40 times greater. Well, here's the thing. I heard this week someone's like, "Yeah, well, you can't spend your equity." Actually, yes, you can.
And that's been true even before this boom. There's been that big of a gap.
Correct. Ready? You knew it. If you know the next slide.
Mhm.
The gap in net worth always exists. Because listen, you can spend it. You can take your equity out and buy a boat. Do you know why I said this? Because I'm trying to give you like the worst examples. A travel trailer, four-wheelers, you can take your whole family on a Disney cruise. These are terrible uses of your money. I'm just telling you, you can spend your equity.
Because you can, yeah.
Number two, you can take the equity out and you can pay interest on the money you pull out. You don't have to refinance your home. You can keep your rate at 3%. can take 50 grand out and buy a rental property.
So look at that in the worst time.
Hang on, whoa. I don't want to lose this.
Okay.
We're gonna get there. How else can you spend the money? How else can you spend the money? You can
buy
sell the home.
investment properties.
Could you
can-
sell your
can
home?
Sell your home.
If you were in trouble today
Mhm.
and you owned a home that you paid $222,000 for, you paid the mortgage down to
Yep.
$180,000, and now it's worth $500,000.
You can sell it. You
There's
can-
$300,000 in equity after you pay out some real estate fees.
Yep.
Could you sell it and live on that money?
You could.
100%. See, real estate homeownership gives you options.
Right.
Renting doesn't give you options.
options that you will not have otherwise. Like, I mean, I guess if you went and saved $300,000, you'd have the
Thank
same
you.
options, but
Thank you.
options you would not have otherwise.
Now, thank you, sir, young man in the
Young man.
beautiful lavender shirt. Okay, thank you for letting me stop you because I wanted to get
Yeah.
a thought out. Tell us about the gap.
So-
Did this just happen because of COVID, or did the gap in net worth always exist between renters and
It
homeowners?
always existed. And here's what's crazy. As I'm looking at this graph that you pulled up, the lowest point in history, 2010, homeowners still had.
Well,
an
since
average-
1988, they started tracking.
Right, 1989 is the earliest. The lowest point was over like what, $160,000.
Mhm.
And at that, it would be interesting to see at that time, what was the average renter's net worth? Was it still 10,000 or was it less?
Well, you can
Or
see
was
it
it
was
more?
small, right? Graphically, we don't see the number, but displayed
Oh,
here.
okay, yep.
Yeah.
So it was probably still about 10,000.
So, well, it's probably
Oh,
about
no,
5,000.
yep, it
around
was, that's
5
right,
grand.
because in 2022 it's higher.
Guys, the gap in net worth has always existed. Isn't this interesting?
Yeah, it is.
Always, by the way, source the Fed. This wasn't like, some realtors put together this data
Right.
to tell people to buy homes. I haven't told anyone to buy a home on this show. I'm simply stating that homeownership always wins in the long run. Okay, there's your number, Jesse. I forgot slide 2 had it. Okay, the average net worth of a renter in 2010
Was
was $5,400. So the smallest the gap has been in 36 years was in 2010. This is after housing values crashed.
Mhm.
There was a $181,600 gap.
Difference, gap. Versus today, 385,000.
Okay, guys, going back to can you spend your equity? Home equity helps foster new businesses. This is from Black Knight and the Commerce Institute. Equity available for homeowners to access before hitting a maximum of 80% combined loan to value of new small business applications. Well, let me tell you what this means. A whole bunch of people have gone out, taken equity from their home, and started really successful businesses. And some major corporations started that way that are huge now
Right.
in the world, right? And here's what they did. They're showing us how much equity is available. Guys, as of 2022, this is crazy, guys. This is crazy, okay? Billions, okay? Nearly 50, oh my gosh. Is that 55 billion? How do we even read that? Available, and this would lead for people to pull out of their home, start a business, for instance,
Yep.
and still have an
Equity in
80% loan to
billions.
value, still keeping 20% equity in their house, so staying safe.
Wow.
Okay. Homeowners build wealth across incomes. Well, this is kind of interesting because, Jesse, when you get into what they call high net worth or high income brackets, they call high income over $192,000 a year.
Right.
Now, you might be like, well, I thought income was a lot less than that. This is nationwide.
Right.
Like 192K household income is what they call high income. And that, of course, it could be up to millions of billions.
Right.
Okay. So the interesting part to me is that there is a smaller gap when you get into, of course, right? But check this out. Here's what happens. One of the things they talked about is people who own real estate that are earning 200K a year plus. Okay. The owner net worth was $1.6 million
Mhm.
at that point. Well, how did it get to be so high? Well, because people who are making decisions like owning real estate and they start earning 200K a year, guess what other decisions they start making, Jesse? They start to own.
They start making investment decisions, whether that's real estate, whether that's commodities, whether that's,
Yes.
they start really strategically building wealth.
Does this make sense, guys? They start thinking like wealthy people. And so, when they talk about the rich get richer, We say this like it's a bad thing. Like, oh, the rich get richer. They just take advantage of, and I sounded like Trump right there. That was awesome.
Right.
Do you see how the rich actually get richer? Because the
Well, they
wealthy,
they make decisions to strategically.
well, because here's what
Like-
happens.
like-
If your household income 60 grand, okay, just for fun, okay, Cedar City, Iron County, Washington County number. You're not having to make decisions like if your household income is 200 grand. Because at 200 grand, you start going, the tax guy starts going, listen,
You better do
you're in an
something.
entirely different tax bracket and you're getting murdered
Yeah.
on taxes.
Yeah, if you don't do something, you are literally half of your
He
income
or
goes
he
to
might
tax.
say, you know what you might want to do is put X in your Roth IRA and put Y into a savings bond. And you know what you could actually do? You could max out your IRA. As a matter of fact, have you thought about buying a rental property? Because if you bought a rental property, we could depreciate that thing in the first year and save you like 50 grand in taxes. 50 grand in taxes. Well, the typical home person that's earning 30, 40, 50, 60 is not thinking about tax problem.
Right.
They are, but they're not. Guys, I can tell you right now, when you deal with the wealthy, they have serious tax issues, serious tax problems. It gets crazy. You get in certain tax brackets, the government wants to take 50%.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right, you either have a strategy or you pay.
Yeah.
A lot.
So let me wrap this up. 8:50. What have we got for time, guys?
We're about there.
Okay, we're about there. So as we wrap this show up today, Jeremy Larkin with the Larkin Group Home Selling Team, KW Realty, Jesse Paul. This is a time, and there have been times like these, when people wonder if homeownership is really worth it. And I'm showing you graphically as we wrap up, at every income level,
They're higher.
homeowners have significantly, guys, 30 to 40 to 50 times more wealth than renters.
It's true.
So what I would recommend right now is be strategic. And we can talk, you know, Jesse, we could talk maybe next week about my good friend Nick McLean that's worked at consulting with me, about 5 ideas to help people deal with this high home value, high interest rate, low affordability market. And I actually talked about 2 of them, pulling equity from your home, selling your home, any number of things you could do. See, homeowners, should we say it again, guys? Have options.
Nice.
Or there you go, guys. Visit us at gocedarcity.com, gocedarcity.com, or Google the Larkin Group. We're happy to give you some guidance. Sweet. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.